Hey, we are keeping it rolling today with the power of a woman from the perspective of real men. Our new book launch happening today. I've worked on this book. It's been in my brain, in my heart since 2014. Started really getting in the trenches about a couple of years ago, started getting it going. And for the past year, we've been building up to this launch. We're screaming up the charts on Amazon right now. Would love for everyone to take advantage of what's happening with this book because it's bridging the gap, it's creating conversations, and it's allowing us to be able to connect with powerhouse women and men from all over the world. But what we're doing today is we're featuring multiple powerhouse women in today's celebration and the launch of this book. And we have a phenomenal young powerhouse woman. Her name is Erin Hernandez-Reisner. She's one of the top photographers in the world. She's been featured over and over in countless magazines. I'm gonna let her tell you her story, but we've got none other than Erin right here, right now, to help us celebrate the launch of my new book, The Power of a Woman, from the perspective of real men. You're a powerhouse woman. I'm a real man, and here we go. What do you got to say today, Miss Erin? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm really glad you wrote this book. I've been really excited about it, and here's why. I have been in lots of industries throughout my life. And one of the things that really set this book apart was that it was written by a man. And though it benefits women, it is a guide to help other men be better men. Because in a world with sexism, in a world where we're not limited by our capabilities, but oftentimes we're limited by the walls we run up to, by the things that we battle, the people that judge us or limit us, and the people we struggle with, which are ultimately often men. And those men don't listen to other women, but they will listen to a man. And I've always believed that it takes a very special type of man to be married to, be friends with, to work with, to empower, to edify a strong woman. Because a man that's going to do that, he is a truly confident leader. And that's what you've proven to be with this book. And I am so excited.
Man, I tell you what, just to hear those words coming from you, it really blesses my heart. We've had some other powerhouse women on here today. We've had the phenomenal Forbes Riley. We've had global renowned Dame Doria Cordova. Now having you, we got more happening today. And I just really want to ask you a little bit about your background. That's the reason I thought this book was so important, because I'm able to tap into different women's backgrounds and allow men to hear these conversations that need to be had, and then to bridge that gap. Let's learn a little bit about, Erin, your background. Like, where'd you come from? What's your story? Why does this book hit you in the way it's hit you, from you giving me a little feedback?
So, you mentioned that I'm an internationally award-winning and globally recognized photographer, and I am, but I didn't start there. I started as a you asked me if I was 5 years old what I wanted to be when I grew up, and it was I wanted to be an actress. My whole life, that's what I wanted to be. I knew it. It was in me. I loved performing. I loved telling stories and bringing things to life. And so from the time I was a child in the middle of Kansas, I'm a farmer's daughter. My dad also worked construction. My mom was a school teacher. We grew up with humble means. And as I grew up and I was pursuing my dreams, a lot of things came into play and a lot of struggles had actually happened. And it's so hard because there's so much. But I ended up becoming a photographer because my abusive ex-husband's dad bought me a camera. And I was a really good photographer. Really good from the very beginning. And I think it was because of how much I'd studied theater and how much I studied performance, because the lighting was the same. Nobody was as mean as a choreographer, which was all directing, setting, staging. I knew how to do this. And then the photojournalism aspect came in, where I worked for a newspaper and I wanted to tell the story and search and pursue the truth and what that looked like from my perspective, and how I would tell those stories. And then I ended up creating this business that was great. And then I hid behind my own name. I wouldn't use my name. I built businesses after businesses. And then when I started teaching, because people were like, "Wow, you make these great sales and you sell these products, and you can put art in people's homes. Will you teach other people how to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." But it was my name, and I was terrified. And I had this massive panic attack before stepping on stage in Italy, speaking to over 500 photographers, translated into multiple languages. And no one knew me, the real me. And so I stood up and I had to list my successes, and then I listed all of my struggles at the same time. And before I got on that stage, which the stage felt like home, so once I got on that stage, I felt good. But up until that moment, I was panicking because this was now real. And I wasn't performing and being somebody else. I was myself. This was me. People wanted to learn from me. And that felt so heavy to me. And I get back, and COVID hits and Clubhouse pops on, and I end up in this Clubhouse room, and we're fighting and arguing and debating about, and it was a good group of people I trusted. And we were talking about business brands versus personal brands. And I got like up in my feelings. And I'm somebody that's like, I'm a passionate person and I speak from my heart, but I was like, why do I care so much? And I had to sit there and really ask myself, what is going on with me? And it was not until that moment when it hit me and I built a wall so beautifully crafted that I'd buried something that I thought I'd gotten over, but I wasn't healed. I wasn't over. I just was scraping the surface. And that's when I shared it in that room. And I was like, guys, can I unload? Will you go here with me? I'm about to share something that I've never spoken out loud in years. And then I talked about being sexually assaulted by a friend's father when I was a kid. And right after that was a very public trial. And I was not painted in a good light to the public. And I was 10. And so then I went back to school, and the other girls, one of them was my best friend, and she ended up with a drug problem. And she died in a drunk driving accident when I was 16. She could not get over that. And there is no getting over that. It affects you at your core. It can change your DNA. It's trauma. And it was holding me back. So I shared everything. And my trauma wasn't just from the abuse, it was the abuse from my peers that then happened for several years. I was suicidal for 3 years of my life. And then I walked into a room. 2 days after that, I walked into a room where Jay Noland was sitting in this audience.
Wow.
And I pitched. I made up a pitch. I wrote it that night. And then you guys wanted more, and I shared it again for the second time. And, we've been growing this incredible relationship, and you saw something in me. You did, your wife. Other powerful women recognize powerful women, and we all have to heal together. We have to heal and change so that we can change the next generation, but we cannot do it alone. That first room that I talked in, it was a man. A man was running that room, and he made the space safe for me to be able to share my story, and everyone in that room ended up becoming a part of that journey. And then I came into a pitch night with the LA Tribune, and Mo Rock and Jay Nolan, Scott Harris, Lena Nolan all made it a safe space for people to share stories. And that night, pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch, women, men too, but women, you could see that they had healed from something and were building these businesses to transform the world. It wasn't just, I'm creating this because I want to create it. They were creating businesses and helping people because of the trauma and pain that they had gone through, and this desire so that other people won't have to go through that. And all of a sudden we created this community, and then we had the 1%ers that ran for 100 days straight. And we became a very tight-knit group of people that were loyal and back to back. And this book has been, from the very beginning, something that Jay has been talking about over and over and over again. And every single time we would come into these rooms and we would share and we would talk and we would support each other, you could see that Jay was mentoring these men to know how to be with powerful women, know how to empower powerful women so that we all could walk in our glory and our greatness. Thank you. I love you.
Wow. I'm just sitting back. I just wanted you just to roll that because people have to hear that. That's what this book is about. This book is about those conversations. What we're having now, it's not just a launch day. It's not just about this book. It's about, what does the book do? What did I intend it to do? I intended it to create the conversations. And Erin, you're part of the conversation because I had got all the way up through the book, and then I had to go back and I had to do the editing of the book. What most people don't know is that last year, when we first began to meet, March of last year, and we started doing those powerhouse rooms together and sharing time together with, I mean, countless thousands of people, is that gave me the inspiration to really tighten this book up and hone it in. because you were a part of some phenomenal events. We did a 24-hour event to where it was women's abuse awareness. My goodness. 24 hours. Erin was a speaker there. Erin, can you let people know what happened at 24 hours? Because that was more inspiration that went into this book. Can you share that?
Yeah. The 24-hour event was, it was heart-wrenching. It was actually painful. We sat with people and gave space for women to share their stories. And mind you, some of them had overcome, but many had not. They were sharing their stories raw and they were in it. I think we had numerous people that were on suicide watch, and we were addressing them and helping them through to, survive and to get through things. We had countless women that were immediately removed from abusive houses and abusive relationships and in really bad situations and put into good situations and a safer place. And all of this was happening live. The infrastructure that was built around this event to empower women, protect women, save women, and then not just saving them and getting them in a safe place, but then also making sure there was a follow up and a follow through to empower these women, and so they can help their children and help themselves and grow. Because it wasn't just a, we're going to get you out of this domestic violence situation and then leave you. There was follow up, there was love, there was care. There was so much that dove in. Jacqueline was a part of that. It was incredible. Lena opening up and sharing her story empowered every other woman to be real. We're not always allowed to be real. Our real can only be handled by powerful men, by men that have the capacity to love and have compassion and spare enough empathy for us to actually be who we are and share what has happened to us within our lives. And that event allowed that for a lot of people. And we broke chains that day and
And
continue to do so later on.
yeah, we broke chains. And that's what I have the intention behind this book to do, is just break chains. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for the disharmony going on in the world. It's really just a matter of choices. you know it's really a matter of upbringing. It's really a matter of influence. So for example, Aaron, we've got a lot of people, they didn't have the proper upbringing. Well, guess what that's a result of? The influences of the people who were upbringing them, our
Mm-hmm.
parents, right? My mom had me when she was 19. She still was a teenager, and then she was the baby of 13. So imagine how much attention she got, minuscule, because there's 12 other
Mm-hmm.
kids. So there's all this dysfunction that happens in the world because very few people are stopping to take the time to go. We have to create an environment through awareness and education and inspiration and conditioning, like I'm doing with my son now, like you've done with your children, are doing with your baby right now, your beautiful, lovely little baby right now. It's all a matter of choice, of conditioning. And if we can all just chill the hell out, I don't know any other way to put it. Like, let's just make it to where I'm comfortable, you're growing, I'm growing. And this book, I believe, is going to create that conversation. As a matter of fact, I'm announcing for the very first time live that it's happening today. There is our app, that I have a personal app that's coming out, that's going to have a lot of my personal growth products in that app. Also including the Power of a Woman, Real Man course, to where we have these conversations and education. And so that's going inside. I've got all these products going inside that course. Confidence tones going inside that app, I should say. All these different things are going inside this app. And I'm just so glad, Erin, to see what's happened with you. For you to tell me your story, this is what's a trip. I want everybody to get this. I want Erin to go in on this. For you to feel confident enough for the room we created to tell your story and how powerful you are, I got chills right now because I'm going, how many other powerhouse Erins are there that don't
Mhm.
feel the environment to share that story? Would you comment on that, Erin?
We have to create lots of space for people to be able to own who they are. Because when I came into that room, that was the start of something. And now, and I'm going to say something too about you. Okay. So you and I did an interview early on, and you asked me, you were like, what do you want to do? And I felt confident and comfortable enough to actually be vulnerable and say, this is what I want to do. And you were like, let's make it happen. And then when we started adding more and we started working together, you're such a part of my story now because you put your production company behind me. And now we're building a class together that's going to launch here pretty soon. And this is the first time I have a class out with my name. This is a part of my story. And it's because of a powerful man. I mean, it's power of a woman, but man, it took you.
You got to deal with some real men. Your husband, that's a real man. Marco,
My husband is a real man.
as a
Very
matter
good.
of as a matter of fact, probably next week we're going to do another series with the real men. So we got the powerhouse women today, and I'm going to do another series with the multiple real men talking about how we're embracing the power of a woman. I don't know how many times this has happened where you have a strong, successful man go, okay, I'm going to bring other powerhouse men, and we're not going to sit around just talk about, oh, here's what we've done. We're going to literally, intentionally talk about the power of a woman. What do you think about that, Erin?
Well, I think that since my husband has worked with me for the last, oh, I don't know, a lot of years, the whole time we've been married, 15, 16 years, he's he's always been the person that's been my support. My number one support system and my number one support team has been my husband. Things that people don't know is that my husband was 19 years old when we met. We got married when he was 20, and I'm about 5 years older. He married me at a really young age, and I was a single mom at the time with 2 kids. And that man came in, adopted my children, became dad to these beautiful babies, and he made our family whole. And he is a wonderful, brilliant, heartwarming man. You will seldom see me in a clubhouse room where my husband doesn't pop in to support me. You won't see me travel or go anywhere without him. And, we feel very blessed in our marriage and our life that we get to work together and we're together all the time. I think it was only like a few years ago when I went to a woman's retreat that we had spent more than 3 nights apart in our entire marriage.
Wow.
He is my rock, and he's not threatened by my shine.
See, that's it. Y'all catch that? Let's just be cool. As a matter of fact, I'm officially inviting Marco to be one of the real men on my real men panel because I've watched him with my eyes. See, I did something very, very unique with Marco and Erin that I rarely do. As we were filming them with our production team, I asked them to come and spend a few days at our home. You get to really
Mhm.
know some people. So you can fake it for a day or two. I said, hey, y'all stay for 4 or 5 days. You can fake stuff usually for a day or so, but if you just stay around people once you get to that 3, 4 day mark, you see people in their pajamas and all that kind of stuff, all the real stuff comes out. Do you notice there? The real
Yep.
stuff. And even after that 4 or 5 days, we ended up loving each other more, respecting each other more. We had these powerhouse interactive man, woman, woman, man, woman, woman, man, man conversations. And that's all what this book is about. It's just to create conversation. So let's learn a little bit about some of the things you're going to be doing. Like you talked about, we've got the social media selfie school that's about to launch. Everybody check it out. You can get involved. Hey, we're going to give everybody a pre-snap. You ready? Psst, psst, psst. You can go over to theselfieschool.com and you can get involved in the pre-launch now. We're going to be announcing this on Wednesday. So you can get over there now, get in before everybody else to this powerhouse course. But anyway, what you doing? Where you going? Where you at? What you going to be doing from here on out? What's that power in Erin that she now sees that she's going to go out and carry out for the rest of her days? What you got?
So, one of the things that I'm really focused on right now is the need of meeting people where they are. Because very seldom do we meet people right where they are and accept them where they are. And then, even in my own work, when I do artistic branding portraits or we do even photographing weddings or portraits, I go back and I look at the history and the story and the past and then meet people where they are. And then we plan for that future and we move forward. And it's such a fun, amazing creative space. And I get to be creative off of people and with people. But when I'm looking at building this course, what made me so happy is being able to teach people photo literacy. Because right now we see more images that flash through in front of our face on our phones than have ever been in the history of the world. In 2015, 5 to 7,000 images would pop up on your screen. Now we can't even quantify it. It's so high and so large, you can't even see it. So, what are your images saying about you? How are you connecting? And I want to do this because I want to beat and obliterate every single stereotype that has been conditioned to make people feel beautiful, be powerful. You have to look like this, you have to act like that. No. We need real. We are allowed to be real. We're allowed to be ourselves. And that realness, that truth that can come through in a photograph, in a video, it establishes trust on a level that is not shown right now. The filters and over editing have kind of destroyed the way people view themselves. And we've got to break that down step by step and empower people to accept themselves, who they are, put it out into the world so that what the world sees, what they accept, is all different types of people. Because people really will love you. We have to love ourselves and let others love us.
It really will. I think if everybody says, I'm going to let people love me, and other people need to say, I'm going to let people love me. I promise you, you're going to have those inspirations come up in you when you read this book. I'm telling you. And I was so honored to be able to have the world renowned Les Brown write the foreword in this book. And I'm going to read a chapter out of this book at the launch party today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Zoom. Make sure you go over to my Facebook page or my Instagram. You'll be able to see the link there. We're going to have a little launch party, but it's going to be fabulous because we're going to be giving away a bunch of prizes, a bunch of gifts, and really doing more inspiration as we cap off this day of power and real. The power of a woman from the perspective of real men. So we got power, we got real. When you hear those two words as we wrap up here, power and real, what comes to Erin Hernandez-Reisner's mind?
I think that when you've got power and you have real, I don't think you can have one without the other. Not today. People are saying no, not today. I want powerful and I want real. When you become real, when you walk in your truth, there is power. And when we come together, and I think this is universal. Women need to be real and powerful, and men need to be real and powerful. And they're real when it comes to women has got to be to start supporting them. Ask yourself this: when was the last time, as a man, you supported a woman, opened a door for a woman in business, at home, in society, and you didn't request or expect anything back? That's what we need.
Wow. Power, real. And just imagine as I keep bringing together people that are powerhouses like an Erin and these other women that you've seen come around, and we start asking people about what does it mean to have power and real operating in your life from the perspective of both men and women, and just get to let's talk to each other. Let's be cool. Let's go ahead and grow great marriages from here. Let's grow great relationships from here. Let's grow them. It's not going to happen miraculously. It's going to happen because we intentionally decided enough is enough. And I promise to bring everything in my power to the forefront. Erin, you've been so off the hook today. You've been so powerful as always. And I want people to know, how do they connect with you? How do they reach out if they want to be involved in what you're doing or get some of the things that you've got? I know that you have a day rate of $25,000 as a photographer. So if any of y'all want Erin for the day, it's 25 G's. That's what she's getting globally. But how do people connect with you if they want to know how to grow and learn more from you, Erin?
Right now, the best way to connect to me is on my Instagram because I actually respond. I will follow people back. I communicate, and we're building out platforms as we speak. So I'm building my own website, which will be erinhernandezreisner.com. Coming soon. It's not there, but I want you to follow that handle, Erin Hernandez-Reisner, and hit me up on all the social media platforms because I'm there and I communicate and I talk back and I support. But the thing is, right now, you guys are all watching me. You're watching me grow. You're part of the story because this is new. I'm not even 1 year in of really honing in and developing this personal brand. And so we're seeing real men like Jay Noland. We're seeing them, my husband, Marco Hernandez Reisner, be real and empower me to walk in my power and my light. And that is something that I did not know would be possible when I was 10 years old or even 19 or 20. But it is here and it's not just for me, it's for everybody. So connect with me and I'm going to bring you along on my journey. And you're going to see more from Jay. And let me tell you guys, these confidence tones are incredible. Everything he produces is next level. I wouldn't team up with him if it wasn't the next level, if it wasn't going to amplify and be incredible. So, all the things that he's giving you, wow, it's so good. And I know, I know I'm animated and I'm funny, but like, I really mean it in my core and my soul that everything he produces is really good. So when you buy this book, it's going to make you better. Anyone that has a son needs to buy this book because this isn't about a rich poor gap or a socioeconomic level. It's about real men also raising really good men. And as somebody who was a single mom for a while with a son and a daughter, I had to raise a real man. And that's hard. And so I'm excited for the study that's going to happen in this book so that we all can become prepared and empowered to raise really good men. That's where we're at now. We need
Where we're at.
really good men.
That's where we're at. That's how we raise a great, powerful generation. Listen, everyone can go today only. Get over to the link. I just hit it down in the comments section on my Facebook page, and they'll put it over on my Instagram page. As a matter of fact, it's in my Instagram bio link, but you can grab the ebook for 99 cents today. You can grab that ebook for 99 cents for today only on Amazon. Look at the link. And here's what I'm asking everyone to do. Challenge. Find 10 other people that you care about. Man, women, men and women, just go get a copy of at least the ebook today. And then what I'm doing is I'm building a movement, a powerhouse, passionate, powerful woman, real men movement. I'll be having a private Facebook page. It'll be inside the app that I'm releasing to where you can be a part of this community. So I've got a special book. If you go over to powerofawomanbook.com, powerofawomanbook.com, those are going to be specially stamped and signet with my signature with a special note directly to you that like 200 women or men globally will ever have a copy of the special edition. You can grab that, and it's got a load of all other free stuff we give you with that. Erin, powerhouse time again. It's never not that way. Thank you for being here, sharing your time. We know what that means. Let's continue to grow together, sis. Everybody, peace and love. Bye-bye.